Hi, this is Lance with tips for realestatephotography.com. Today I'm going to go over a video on how I organize my files for my real estate photo shoots and how I export them in Lightroom and package them up for clients. So let's take a look at how I create my directories for all of my photo shoots. I have a base folder that I label after my company's name. And inside of that folder, when I have a new photo shoot, I create a directory labeled with the year of the shoot, followed by the month and the day. So in this instance, 2014, June 18th. I put a 01 in there to let me know that this was the first shoot of the day. And then I follow it up with the address of the property, the city, the state, and the zip code. Inside of that main directory, I create an originals folder. These other folders are going to be created later, so ignore those for now. But inside the originals folder, I copy all of my raw files from the photo shoot and paste them in. I then go into Lightroom and I create a new catalog named off of this directory that we already created. If we pull up Lightroom, we can see that the name of my catalog is the same as the directory. I import all the originals, I make all of my edits, do my processing, and we are left with the final images. Inside of the library module, I change the title to the name or the address and city, state, and zip of the particular property that we shot. And then I'm going to export them out from Lightroom into various sizes. The way that I do that is I go to File and Export, and I select Export Manager from the Export to dropdown. Export Manager is actually a plugin that I've added into Lightroom, and you can find it by going to www.robcole.com. It's called RC Export Manager. What this allows you to do is it allows you to create different export presets and export photos amongst all those presets in one click. It's very handy. Back inside of our export window, we can see here that I have all these various presets created. We'll take a look at a couple of them, some of the ones that you might find interesting and might work for you in your business. I do various different sizes and I label them differently just because of the way of how my system works, my web system, and how I deliver photos and packages to clients. So I have to make different versions. You may be only interested in the full and small sizes, and we'll also take a look at the proofs and how I add a watermark to the photos automatically through Lightroom. So let's take a look at the full preset. I export it to the same folder as original photo. So it's going to export this inside of my originals folder, and it's going to put it in a subfolder called full. I'm going to rename it. Let's take a look at the settings. I set a sequence number so it labels them in order by number, 1 through however many photos I have. Then I label it after the title, which we edited over in the library module. And then we add full to the end of it so we know what this photo is, what size it is. We start our sequence number at 1, and we're going to export into Jpeg at quality 84, and we resize it to fit inside 5000 by 5000 pixel block, but you could leave this unchecked so it's actually the full size photo if you want. I sharpen for screen with the amount standard, and everything else I leave as is. For the small size, it's very similar. We export to a small folder. We rename to small instead of full. And then we change the image size to fit inside of 800 by 600 pixel block. Remember that when you export from Lightroom, it's not going to make the image be 800 by 600 exactly. It's going to squeeze it to fit inside of those dimensions. Depending on the ratio of your photo, you may end up with a photo that's 800 by 500 pixels or 533 pixels, whatever your ratio is on your particular photo that you're exporting. Everything else is the same as the full size. Let's take a look at the proofs. This is where we add a watermark. We export it into a subfolder called proofs. I rename them to proof with the sequence number. I don't include the address in this particular photo or this particular file because it's not needed because the client never sees it. Same quality, JPEG 84. We're resizing it into 800 by 600. But at the bottom, we're going to watermark it. The way we do it is we select watermark and we go to edit watermarks because we need to create one for our company. You can see I already have one created here. You can select a particular PNG or a JPEG image, and I would use PNG so you have the transparency of that particular logo, so it's not just a block sitting on top of your photo. And if we scroll down, we can go to the effects and we can see that you can change the opacity. I set it to 60. And you can adjust the size to be proportional to how big your image is. So this is great because you can actually change how big or small you want your watermark to be on top of your exported photo. You can also change where it actually stamps it on your photo and where it's going to anchor it. So it's going to start it in the center, bottom left, bottom right, that type of thing. I'm going to go ahead and click on Export To. I'm going to go back to Export Manager. This is where we set all of our exports for all of our presets. Once we hit export, it's going to go through every single one of these presets and export all of those photos based off of those presets. The end result is inside of our originals folder. We're going to have a full folder, proofs, small, thumb, and tour. Again, you may only be interested in full, proofs, and small. You may not even be interested in proofs, but based off of your business and your needs, create exports that you need. If we open up our full folder, we'll see we have all of our images as expected, named after the address of the property with full at the end. I package those up into a zip file and label them after the particular address. If we go inside of our small folder, we'll see the same thing. All of our photos with small on the end of it. And I do the same thing. I package them up in a zip file, label them after the address of the property, and add small onto the end of that zip file. So the zip file is a different name than the full size. If we take a look at the proofs, if we open one of them up, we'll see that our company logo is stamped on top and watermarked on top of that photo. This is great for if you want to show your clients your photos before you have accepted payment, so they can't just take your photo and use it without making the requested payment. Once I'm all done and I have everything exported, I'll go ahead and delete the catalog directory, and I'll go ahead and delete the original raw files to save space. The majority of the time, I have never had to go back through and make any edits that I can't make off of the full-size photo. There might be a tiny fix that a client wants, and I can easily do that by making that adjustment on that full photo and exporting back out into the various sizes. However, I find that I never really need the catalog or the originals, the raw files any longer, so I delete them to save space. Again, this is Lance with tips for realestatephotography.com. To find more tutorials and information about real estate photography, head on over to the website. I hope you found this directory structure that I use useful, and I hope it helps you to organize your files and your real estate shoots.